how do we apply it to ourselves? Or do we apply it to ourselves? Or do we just think that it's for someone who is uh, uh, hearing the word of God for the first time? Because we have the one that got that fell by the I'm gonna say by the wayside, so to speak, the hard heart. Uh, so you got these different types of soil, these different types of hearts. So when we read this, what do we think about? What do we see? Is it any way we can apply it to ourselves? Or is it just for those who we feel like haven't heard the word and first time I'm gonna say hearers of the word. I'll just use that.
Think if you get past that initial 19 and 21,
Hmm.
you really can apply pieces of that to any Christian that is not constantly, using Christ as a mirror and evaluating it because you look at what it says in 22 about the things of the world and the thorns being choked up, and it becomes unfruitful. So it's saying that at some point it was bearing some fruit.
Hmm.
But then you got these weeds and stuff growing up around it, and it cutting back on what it's producing. And I think sometimes that's it.
Hmm.
Because if you think, hey, you got these things that you know that as part of your mission that you should be doing, but then you fall back on something because maybe, you feel overwhelmed with work and stuff, or, just family matters, things with life in general. That can happen. That's why you got to have that whole process of having the word. Because if you look at each place where he's talking about the soil, right? The seed didn't never change. He didn't go back and get a different kind of seed. It was the same seed. So the word ain't changing. The word is consistent. But the condition of the different soils is what's producing the different results.
Hmm.
And to a certain degree, we got a responsibility to the condition of our heart. So if we're not keeping a constant thumb on what's going on with us in our heart, we are actually limiting how much he can do with us.
So we can say that if we let's just say we do anybody ever feel like they get to a level and they good? Have anybody ever felt that way? Like on your job, okay, I done made, you know, supervisor, I'm good. Anybody ever felt that? No, no. I feel like we do that in our spiritual journey sometimes. And the reason I'm saying that is because, if this is what I told somebody. She kept talking about the things that she dealt with, throughout life. It seemed like, oh, it's always something. It's always something, right? That was the only thing I said. I said, if you want something different, you got to do something different. It's not possible for you to get something else. If you continue to do this is all you're gonna get. You got to change if you want something different, right? So we come to Bible study, we come to worship service, Sunday school, week in, week out, right? We ever do anything different? Now, I ain't telling us not to come to Sunday school, Bible study, but it goes back to the heart and how it receives the word. So, I know we've been over, I read this several times. I heard people talk about it several times. But have we conditioned ourselves, I'm going to say, in a way to receive this differently so that we can improve ourselves? Yes, sir, Jay.
Some of us, but I was gonna say something else. He's talking about seed. In his case, the sower or whatnot. People have a tendency, they want truth. You give it to them, you show it to them, but they don't do the part that needs to be done, like the nurturing, the watering, the feeding. Because if I give you the truth, but you don't understand what I said, but then you don't ask any questions, or do anything. You know, y'all pick at me all the time because I ask questions. I'm like, where you come at, Craig? But you know, you ask questions because you got one thing in your mind and you want to know whether what's in your mind is right or is it just or is there another answer? So if you don't ever ask about what you heard or what somebody put in front of you, what does the word do for you? Even though they may have put the truth in it, but did you understand what it was telling you? Did you understand? Because when it's presented, it's got to be presented, and you got to get it to the point where you understand what's being said, so that you can apply it to your everyday life and maybe apply it to somebody else's life, give it to somebody else. So you got, like I said, you got to ask questions. Like you got to, like say, you got to nurse, you got to feed the mind. You know, and then they, talk about seeds. You know, all just put a seed in the ground. You get put fertilizer out there. You put
Some of
water out there.
some of them do.
You got to do something to get it to grow.
Some of them do. Just put it in. Yeah.
So if you just go get the word and that's all you do, what you got? If somebody you come to somebody and they giving you what you're asking, you just take that and cut it off right there. You don't try to research it for yourself. You don't try to study for yourself to make sure what they said was gospel. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And I get me wrong. I was like that one time. Whatever the teacher said, whatever the preacher said, I took that, you know,
And I think a lot. Shanae got her hand up back there. Had her hand up. A lot of people do that, James, because when we not trying to make no excuse by no means, but when we first start getting into God and the Word, and we don't expect. Did you ever, if your mama told you so, it was right because it came from mom. So we feel like that with preachers and teachers sometimes that it coming from him, her, it can't be wrong, can it? But like you saying that it's best for you to uh, go and study that thing for yourself. Because not saying that they could be wrong, which they could, it's a possibility they could be. But if you just take what they given and don't ever do anything else with it, how can you build from what they, you know? So James going in a little different route than what we trying to go tonight. But he's not wrong though. Because I did say as far as with us, how can we or do we think about when we read this ways in which we can grow ourselves? Because we got hard hearts. We got we'll go over that. Let me get Shanae. Yes, ma'am.
I think sometimes the issue deals with impatience.
Uh,
We don't be patient enough as Christians because we won't, but sometimes we don't want to wait on God's timing
okay.
for things to happen. So then we get frustrated, not waiting on God's timing.
All right. Anyone else? Let's take a look at this. We're gonna back up the verse. Yes, sir.
can and since we talk what we talk, if I just take what the preacher tells me and don't do anything else with it, can I grow? Can I grow anybody else?
I don't want to answer that. I wouldn't say no. Yeah, cause I remember there's a God said that His word will not return void. So I don't want to say no. I know you getting that, James, because what James is saying that if you don't grow, you can't continue to build. So therefore, if I try to get the young folks whenever the last time I was back there, we was going over pretty much what we been doing in here as far as followers and disciples or whatever, right? So I had them to define disciple and all that. And, so I think it was what's her name? Yeah, her. She said, it's a follower of you follow out the one's teaching and so forth and so on. So she was just going on talking about that. I said, right. I said, okay. I said, so y'all could be a disciple of RL, right? Mackenzie said, said, "Kid, you won't want to be a disciple of RL." I said, why? Because I'm a bad person. She was like, no, I just don't want to be no disciple of RL. But anyways, I was sharing that to say that this is something that I feel like we need to remember, Jane. I feel like we can never say if it's only that much. Is it right for us to say this is all I know and this isn't going to do enough, for somebody else?
And that's more or less where I was going with that. Because he told us anything that he give you, you take it and do something with it for somebody else. So even if he don't give you but like the Oprah song, thimbleful, you take that thimbleful and you share it with others. He'll do the rest. He just want you to do what he asks you. He said, you take what I give you and you share it with others.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say, well, this little bit I got might not do what it needs to do. But I'll say, I'm gonna take what I know, give it to you, and then we're gonna go a little further with somebody that can give you a little bit more than I can. I ain't gonna say this little bit ain't gonna might not be enough, but I'm gonna let them know I'm gonna give you what I'm capable of giving you, and then I'm gonna get you in front of somebody else that can give you a little bit more.
And seeing that within itself should motivate us or cause us to want to do more so that we can do and give more to others, so it's I feel like it's not wise just for us to you know sail right there, even though it feel good to be right there sailing, but we need to do more so that we can give more.
I think
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
it's hard to do.
Well, if you think about it, let's just say you come in here on Sunday morning,
Hmm.
you know, tell you listen to the singing, you listen to how you go home. Even if you just enthusiastically repeating what you heard how talk about, right? God is so smart that's going to put you in the exact situation that's going to force you to have to get out of that spot anyway.
Mm.
Because if you keep coming to people repeating what Howard telling you, right, they going to ask you some questions. So then at that point, you might not be able to answer them questions. Guess what you're going to have to do if you're excited about it. You're going to have to do that thing that you're not doing. They're going to force you into it. At worst case scenario, you're going to still have to get that person that you've been talking to and bring them here. So you still not going to have to get out of just listening and taking what you listen to
And
and reading
go.
with. It's really almost like a trap. You're going to
Hmm.
talk yourself into the very thing that you wouldn't do.
Trying to build yourself so that you can.
Just think about it. Somebody came and they was telling you about a book that they heard about. They tell you all about this book. They ain't read it now. At a certain point, when you start asking too many questions about this book, they're going to either have to stop talking to you about it, or they're going to have to go get the book. If they want to keep talking to you, they've been having a good time talking to you, they're going to have to go get that book so they can keep having stuff to talk to you about.
That's right. That's right. Anyone else? Verse 3. Let's back up to verse 3. Uh, Matthew 13 and 3. He spoke many things to him. Now let's get down to behold, the sower went out and sowed. Verse 4, and as he sowed, some seeds fell beside the road, and the birds came and ate them up. Okay, now we're going to say these that fell beside the road is that heart condition that's hard. Uh, not to go outside because we do know even before we came to Christ, it was stuff that we knew. But we did everything on the sun not to do right. Just because for whatever reason, that we wasn't ready, it wasn't our time. We felt like it wasn't our time. That's why I told Dante too. I told him I'm gonna dip him in that tub back there, right? And he said, "No, man." He said, "I'm not ready for that." I said, "Why?" He said, "I gotta get some stuff right." I said, "You ain't gonna never get it right. Do y'all think we ever get it right? So wouldn't you rather go in the water and hopefully you get, you know what I mean?" So I'm gonna keep working on it, James. My brother told me that he want to start baptizing folk, and the boy crazy. Cat, the younger one, yeah.
You won't come to church.
Yeah, you ought to call him and tell him.
They baptized you into what?
Joe, this fool said, well, he was talking about this fella that he don't care for. He said he want to baptize, and he said he gonna hold him in there till he stop shaking. He said that's when he saved. That's what that. If y'all see him, mess with him about that.
That's what he's gonna say. He's gonna do
But this hard heart, or whatever. That is exactly what Jesus is talking about with that word that we hear people hear his word and we just ignore it. Why do we do that? I mean, as I feel like as his children, as disciples of him, we do that, more than I think we think about. Uh, do y'all think so?
We do. I think we're all guilty of that at some point or the other. But I think it's more because don't nothing happen to us right then when we do something.
Mm-mm.
So we think we all right. We don't got by.
I agree, Jay.
So
I
yeah,
agree.
sometimes it's easy to go on and do something you know you should do. I worry about it later. Because in most cases, don't let it immediately happen to you. In some cases, some go wrong immediately.
Hmm.
But you see, since we ain't living up under the law, if I go there and take to be the coat from her when it's good and cold, and she drinking it, I take it from her. And I worry about them chopping my hand off. Be back up under the law. So we got touched it.
Can't
It
get you.
belonged to me. You were dealt with right then.
It's some countries still do stuff borderline that don't right now today, right?
But I think as church folks, we get caught up like that, because it don't be an immediate punishment for doing something.
Mm-mm. So we'll ignore those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you have like I say, you have a remorseful mind later on, Uh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I know I was wrong. Forgive me. Why you don't do that before you did it?
No,
If you did it before you did it, then what you would have done.
yeah.
If you went to him first, it would have kept you from doing wrong.
Now, James. Now, what about take that person that you do that individual type of, and one who it come and slap him in the face, and it still isn't them. It's somebody else or something else. What about that person? We all know somebody like that.
Walk up and slap somebody in the face.
No, I ain't saying slap you in the face. I'm saying the situation, whatever it is, the consequence. Like you were just saying that sometimes we're not punished right away after doing something wrong. What about the one that do something wrong, get punished, and still don't say, man, that was me.
He's not going to equate it to God.
Mm. Okay.
Because if he did, yes, if they haven't shown you God in them prior to, so you know they're capable of doing anything if they have not shown you, who God is. Because we'll just say unbelievers, not a member of the body. They carry themselves a certain way than members of the body do. Because you can look at them and if they do something, it won't change your mind about them one way or the other. But now somebody that's part of the body do the exact same thing they did, you're gonna look at them totally different. I, I just didn't see that in there. I didn't think they was that kind of person.
Hmm.
But over there.
I'm with there she go. I'm with I know what you're saying, Jane. Some people do that, and that's wrong. Uh, because we all have them flaws. Man, I see people outside of the body doing more than some folks in the body.
Exactly. Me and Howard in the back, we had a conversation about pretty much about the same thing with that invite. You got a lot of people, you got a lot of church people really think that they gonna make it to heaven. Yes, because of the work that they do for the church. Yeah, some of those people are doing more than we're doing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But they'll be the first one to repeat work by itself, you know. But now they'll work. And so, but some of the other stuff they should be doing, they don't do. I went over there and I fed Brother Joe. I made sure Brother Joe had so he went to Seville, cut the grass for him. Sunday morning, what Brother James had Sunday morning. Now he don't work. He went over to help Brother Joe and went over here to see him. Where you at Sunday morning?
And James, I got y'all and I respect you to the fullest. You know what I'll start doing? Man, we don't know what nobody doing. And we don't know what God gonna do. So I let that be.
You know what God gonna do. God tell you what he gonna do.
And don't get me wrong, I understand the type of folks that you are, talking about, or whatever, but I don't know, I just think about some of those characters in the Bible that did all kind of stuff, so I leave it alone now, Joe.
It
Because
is. I mean, look at the disciples. All of them was good. They was some hoodlums, they say some thugs,
they were all
all,
good. They were all good guys. That's what Van would say.
but they all had one thing in common too.
Okay. What had in common?
Doing God's preaching the gospel, teaching the gospel.
And see, then when you start breaking them down, uh, you'll see all kind of stuff wrapped up in. Who was the one, Joe? He had to put his hands on. I wouldn't have dealt with Tom. I wouldn't have dealt with what Jesus did. Joe said the other week, I ain't Jesus or God. What did you say, Joe? Let me move on. Verse 5. Someone read verse 5 for us, please.
I got the mic.
Okay.
Verse 5. Others fell on the rocky place where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up because they had no depth flow.
Okay, now this type of heart that was it fell on because all this is talking about the condition of one's heart. Uh now did when this person heard the word wide open.
They was looking for something.
They was looking for something.
They was already looking for something.
Okay. Now I think this is something that y'all was talking about just a minute ago. That word, right, battle. It's as soon as this person have a little, I'm gonna say a tug of war with the word, fall apart. That's what he's saying. That they heard him. They ran out wide open doing the work. Just as soon as James ran across somebody he felt like had a little more knowledge of the word than he did, he just let it go. Have we done that?
They did that.
You did. Stayed on.
So, like I say, I'm gonna give you what he gave you, and I'll be happy to do it. And just like I said before, I ain't got no problem calling Aria, band maker, houseboat. I even call Cecile, bro. Cecile know a little bit more than I know. I ain't got no problem with it because I can only give you what I know. What I'm saying?
And
I
this
don't. I don't get bent out of shape because hell beats no more than I know. I'm gonna use other people, you know, rather than get angry with her because she know more than I know.
that's what you do.
Huh? We talk
'Cause-
about how people get angry with some people because they might know more of them.
and not necessarily angry. Some I feel like they
Or they
just
don't want to. They don't really want to listen to you.
yeah. I know I've had several people in the past that I shared the word with them. Few of them you came to church time to came right here, and one of them told me that he gonna I'm gonna chill out with all this religion stuff. It's too much stuff out there. I don't know what to believe. God gonna have to come down here and tell me in my face it was his exact words, Joe. Before and he haven't, to my knowledge, he haven't been nowhere since.
Yeah.
Huh? He got no sense enough to get about. He need to get one. But see, that's the thing. I mean, and now James said something that I don't want to do, but I don't have to. James said it was looking for something. Sometimes struggles and stuff in life. I think this is what the next one talks about. It causes people to reach out, and then when stuff level out a little bit, you're gone.
And he talking about he gonna God might come out and
We do that as a church all the time, don't
God might
we?
already came down and told him. He just paid attention. He already came to him and told him.
Yeah, I ain't gonna disagree with that. Better you had some.
Oh, well, I think that when you get to verse 6, that's what it's talking about. Is that person that got that piece of word and they was excited. As soon as the circumstances changed, it got different. then hey, you want to hold on to the word that you have got.
Mm.
And I think there's like different levels of that. Like we could easily take that to a non-believer and say, because I have a couple of guys, believe it or not, I got logistics stuff that I deal with, and I got a retail store that I deal with. They'll come by the store and don't want to buy nothing, and sit there and talk to me and tell me about whatever they got going on, this and that. And they're like, well, you're so calm, and you just seem like don't nothing bother. It's like, no, stuff bothers me, but I just don't allow it to get to that point because it's not in my control to begin with. And you're gonna have to give it up to somebody else. They'll come to get that. But when you bring up, hey, you ought to come by and check this out and do this, they start kind of, slowly easing back from that a little bit of it. Hey, I'm gonna kind of get a little quiet and change the subject. And I think to a certain degree, you can take it beyond the non-believer and look at some things that we do.
That's it. Oh yeah.
Because sometimes, I think I said it Sunday, me and my wife were going, so we were talking about just different things that happen in different people's lives. And we keep getting messed up on the idea that everything that happened to us is about us.
Mm.
Certain circumstances that happen to us ain't even got nothing to do with it. You experiencing this just so that you can have it in your back pocket to give it to somebody. You went through this hardship just so that you can know it. So that 3-4 years later, when this brother comes up to you and he got trouble at his house, the money tight, he don't know what to do. It wasn't really about you. Yeah, you got something out of it, but it was for you to be ready to help somebody. Because at the end of the day, us growing and teaching other people is how we grow. There's a bunch of experiences I didn't have or have wisdom about till I started having kids. So I can say all the stuff that I do for my kids and how I'm blessing them, right? But they are blessing me and wisdom and life experience just as much as I'm blessing them. So trying to teach them things and grow them.
Mm.
And we forget that.
You know
So
better.
sometimes God put them circumstances there. It's us running away from what he's trying to bless you with.
You know, I've said to some people multiple times that you blessed because of somebody else. Because of somebody else, you are being blessed. Some of us don't believe that, but I believe that. Yes, sir.
To say that it might be a little bit off, but okay. Sunday, me, Howard, and Van, we went somewhere and we ate. And it was this family of folks in there eating. You know, we didn't conversate anything while we was in there. They got up to leave before we did, but it was outside when we came out. I didn't open up talking what happened. And they said something about church. And we said, yeah, we've been in church and all. And they said, well, where the church at? Told me where the church was at. And man said, well, you should come visit sometime. Man said, okay, I can do that. And he said, yeah, I got a drone. When man told me he had no drone, that comes to the church. You know,
I had that happen. And they want to know if you got quiet.
Exactly.
I'll call him drone because what he want to do, he want to come to play drone. Now, we ain't got no instrument. Oh, y'all acapella. Yeah. That's how we do it. And, he said something, bro. We couldn't hear what he said, but he said something. But, once he said what on drum, the conversation got real different.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and hearing the word versus hearing the choir. I get turned down a lot, so we don't have no choir.
And what else? The choir sound like it's the church. We the choir.
What?
Yeah.
But don't y'all let that get to you though.
No.
And the reason why, because we still just don't know. If let's say that those folks never experienced anybody ever saying that. Why would they even think it's a church that exists without a choir? You know what I mean? So it may be, you know what? I'm gonna go check out one of those that don't have no choir. We'll never know. It's something behind it though, but
You never know.
the
I have been to a church and the choir made more sense than the preacher.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. So I can see why they, want to
the,
put together
the
choir.
choir. Joe said the choir ain't gonna sing in the preacher. Goodness, Joe. Anyone else? What we at? Verse 7? Okay. These seeds fell upon the thorn. So those thorns came up and choked them out. Uh now this is someone want to explain that one? That condition of the heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the other stuff.
What's the other stuff?
The thing that's contrary to the word. You got the truth and you got the lie.
Okay.
And your growth is gonna be restricted because you gotta make room.
Hmm.
If you got a piece of land, let's say you got a quarter acre lot. There's a limit to how much stuff you can put on that quarter acre lot.
Yeah.
So if that lot full of weed, and then we come in and we bring in some good grass to put down there. You might get some grass pop up in some spots, but as long as them weeds then they thick, you ain't gonna have no golf course looking great. And I'm trying to remember what word that verse is at. There's a verse where he talks about that every son that God loves. When you find that other verse, it says that he pruned. Pruning is essential to helping any plant. You gotta cut stuff. You gotta cut the dead, the bad stuff off, the disease stuff off. And you look at any plant. Most people prune them plants every year. Every season until the plant get pruned. When that's conditioned with those thorns is what happens when that don't happen. So your growth ends up being stunted because you ain't making no room.
Hmm. So you saying that the I don't know the things of the world, the trying to be concerned about what's going on in the world, I don't know whatever it is folks do in the world. I don't do too much, so I can't say. I'm gonna say chasing money. Doing all this stuff, the stuff and I don't want to use entertainment because there's nothing wrong with um, entertainment, but if that exceeds, you doing your self work for, God, uh, it's that's some of those thorns that he's talking about. It chokes that life out of your spiritual side. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well,
Wealth and all
in order
that
for you to
stuff.
get the most out of the seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna have to invest. So it's gonna cost you something. So you can't just have everything like you had it before. Because in order for you to get the most out of what you got out of your word, you're gonna have to give up some of them other things.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, it's gonna make it to a point where there's conflict. If you're reading this word and you're really trying to get somebody's word, you're searching the scripture daily. You can't tell me that you're really doing that. You're not gonna find conflict between those other things and what word says. Prime example, it tells you about forgiving somebody 70 times 7. You gonna if that really gonna hit you because you're gonna realize that it's telling you that hey, no matter what, you gotta keep forgiving.
7 times 7.
7 times 7.
She had her hand up. I'm gonna come up with it. That's it. That's. Let me stop. So you gotta continue to forgive. Yes, ma'am.
That just that made me think about last week while me and Jamal was in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
um during his work conference. And I know compared from last year to this year, I felt that conflict with some of the stuff that they was providing. So I said, when you let the spirit, I can see the growth. I ain't participated in some of the stuff that I did actually did last year.
Oh, don't say that, Jane.
So you bring a Coke water about it.
Only go one.
Oh,
That's right.
Only one.
Like, so, so,
Oh, what about?
but it's like what you just said, Pete. You'll find the more that you start really uh having more alignment with Christ, the less alignment that you're gonna have with other things. And you're gonna find yourself having that conflict where you feel like, ah, I better not. And then you find yourself pulling away for some of the things that you can see no problem with. I tell Adrian all the time, I used to listen to all kind of music and stuff, and I thought in my mind that, hey, I know this ain't real. So me hearing it don't have no effect on me.
Mm.
You can't really say that's true. Because you hearing all that stuff and it's getting ingrained in your mind. If you can remember and recite the word, do it. Isn't it?
Is it there? That's
So
right.
you got to ask yourself, well, why do I need to know that? What benefit is it need for me to know them kind of words? I can't take them kind of words and help somebody else be better or do nothing for them with it.
so you don't want to be part of that.
Huh?
You don't
Nah,
want to be part of that.
he got it. They already got somebody for it.
They'll take it.
Yeah, they got somebody for that.
Oh man. All right. Uh, and then the good soil, of course, is that open heart, and and I think it's like with what Shanae just shared, and even when we see that we like actively engage in sharing the word with people, that's a heart that is that has I, I want to say fruit, but I don't always want like using fruit, because just because we don't see that we participated in saving somebody, that don't mean that we didn't participate in saving somebody. You know what I mean? So but things like that, you sharing the word. Shanae said she get into some of the stuff that she got into before. That's that open heart. That's that heart that is just allowing for Christ, the word, to thrive outside of just being hard headed and all that good stuff. Wanna go against the grain. Joe, I used to do that when I was younger, just because. Huh?
Did you get caught? Got the wolf.
I did. Just because somebody was doing this, I would do the opposite. I don't know why I'm bad with that too, Jane.
But getting talking to somebody and getting them to smile, I think is a move. Because if you can get somebody to smile, put a smile on their face, you done something. You done someone said something. Just
I
get,
hear you.
just get a smile. Because the smile carries so much weight. A lot of times people don't understand how much a smile or what a smile can really do for the individual that's talking and the one that's being talked to.
I got you.
If you talking to somebody about the Lord and that other person is smiling and taking it in, it gives you a little bit more encouragement. It makes you, like you say, want to do a little bit more so that you can keep getting those smiles.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I hear you. Anyone else? So this of course we all want the good soil. We want the good heart. So I think we all can agree that it's a journey. It's not nothing that you just, that comes overnight that you do, one time, a time or two, to cultivate that type of soil. It's something that we have to be intentional at. We have to pray. We have to be consistent too. Uh, I know now Mike told me that if I have him to set me a reminder, he said he probably really don't want to do it, are you? Because I told Mike that I got me a reminder where I pray every day. I'm trying, Jane. When I go to work, right? So if throughout work, I still want to at least reflect on.
But do you have to be reminded to go to work?
Sometimes I do, and I'm not just saying that. That's no lie. You want to see my phone? I got all kind of reminders in there.
But I'm saying, you might have been there, but do you really need those reminders? I know, we gonna leave you out here, keep going.
Oh man, I got you, Jay. I got you. I told somebody. I said, when you look at your life and you realize that within your life you doing all this stuff for somebody else, I mean, it make you feel some kind of way, Joe. Make you want to throw in the towel. That's how I feel, Jay. So when I say that I got reminders to go to work, I almost laid in the bed this morning. But I said, no. Uh, I told somebody I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna go this time. But Jay, even within that, I still feel like it's at least one is trying to get to a place compared to what you know how often we will put something off. Like uh, what, I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna use that because I've been saying that for a while, Joe. I bought all kind of stuff and then turned around and gave some other way that I bought from but we'll put it off. Well, I'm gonna wait till after this month because I got this going on. Uh, I did that so many times, Jane.
You know what your real problem is, though?
What is it?
Yo, you overload yourself.
You think so?
Yeah. So when you do that, you like I say, you gonna be reported because I don't know, because the reminder ain't to go to work. The reminder is I'm gonna be going over here for no. I'm gonna be going over here for help. I'm gonna be doing this for Jane Hall. That's really what the reminder is. They ain't just remind you to go to work. It's just a reminder who you supposed to be going to.
But you know what, Jane? Now, and I'm not trying to say this to justify nothing for me. You know the overload. I have realized that's what I want. That's what I need. That for me. I'm saying
How they working for you.
it worked fine for me.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I know.
Yeah. Well, I ain't talking about getting being late. I'm just tired up doing something else. But I'm saying that
Grass in this field is so green.
yeah,
No weed get in there.
that's all I'm doing. Cause I don't like being stagnant. I can't stand it. Do something to me.
You like
You know, huh?
you like me steady?
Stagnant.
Steady. Oh,
Yes. It don't work for me, Joe. So I clutter up my time.
Even with all that what you saying, guess what you still do?
What?
What you just said you don't like to do.
Being stagnant. I got you, but it'll be if I feel like if I had like Reagan told me, well, matter of fact, I need to go ahead and find somewhere to go because Reagan used to go fishing with me and she don't know it. She was in a stroller. She sitting up down fishing. He knocked out sleep. So she told me she'll go fishing with me. So I need to find somewhere to go for that, change, because the young folks are not Adrian better. Oh man. Well, anyways, uh, James done left out of here now. Well, y'all, we're gonna pick up on this Sunday as well. I'm gonna try to stay within line with Van want me to, because I think at least in matter of fact, if I want to, I would read on, because it start talks about the wheats and all these different parables and what they mean. So uh, read on through Matthew 13. Any questions? Battle, you was about to say something. I'm sorry. You you good?
I'm good.
Oh, okay.